If you are in Germany right now, here are some of the things that can land you in trouble. Taking part in a demonstration against Israel's military aggression in Palestine's Gaza, wearing a keffiyeh, carrying a Free Palestine sticker, a map of Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories in Palestinian colors, any form of expression that calls for a free Palestine. In the last month, German authorities have arrested hundreds of people after violently cracking down on pro-Palestinian protests, deeming protesters sympathetic towards Hamas.
They're not even giving Palestinian people in Germany, which is the largest diaspora outside of the Middle East and South America, the opportunity to even express themselves, the opportunity to even give their opinion.
Many members of Germany's Palestinian diaspora live in the Neukölln district of Berlin. This tiny district, known for its immigrant diversity, is also one of the poorest regions in Germany and is neglected by the government and undeserved as far as social infrastructure goes. And it is here where the government repression has been the worst. Protesters have been met with brute force by authorities, who have even arrested minors for taking part in Palestinian rallies. One of the main reasons behind these draconian measures taken against pro-Palestine protesters is the country's collective guilt and national identity of taking pride in Germany's efforts to reconcile and take responsibility for the Holocaust.
When we think of Germany, immediately kind of the mind goes to the Third Reich and what they did to Jewish people. And so throughout the course of the history post-World War II, they have been trying their hardest to get rid of this image and show themselves as a leader. How better to get rid of your identity as rampant anti-Semites than to support a country that specifically says that they're the speaker of the Jewish world. It is trying to essentially just get rid of their deep-rooted, I guess you could say, guilt, and paint themselves as, as leaders once again.
During the Second World War, Germany under Adolf Hitler killed 6 million Jews, amounting to 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population, in a series of state-sponsored pogroms. That included gas chambers, mass shootings, and concentration camps. This came to be known as the Holocaust. When the Nazi Party came into power in 1933, it built an ideology based on racism that shaped every aspect of life and politics at that time. The Nazis identified Germans as the Aryans, the humans at the top of the racial hierarchy that had to be protected from other races, including the Jews, who were deemed inferior. This set in motion two race-based measures, the Nuremberg Laws, which forbade marriages between Aryan Germans and German Jews and reduced them to second-class citizens without citizenship rights. The Nazis then went on to establish ghettos to segregate Jews from the main German population by building walls within cities. Many Jews were sent into crushing labor camps. Those who escaped went into hiding across Europe. These moves were enacted with a vision that they would force the country's Jewish population to emigrate. After 1942, the highest officials of the government finally called for the extermination of the entire Jewish population. They were deported from all over Europe into giant concentration camps and killed en masse. More than 2 million people were killed at Auschwitz, one of the largest concentration camps. At the end of the war, Germany was decimated by Allied forces. Since 1953, Germany has paid $86.8 billion in restitution and compensation to Jewish victims and Israel for its role in the Holocaust, which in turn has helped build Israel's economy. In 2008, then German Chancellor Angela Merkel, in her speech at the Knesset, admitted Germany's Holocaust shame and asserted Berlin's support for Tel Aviv, saying that Israel's security was Germany's reason of state. Despite Israel's ongoing bombing campaign on Palestine's Gaza, which has killed over 10,000 civilians and injured thousands of others, Germany has remained steadfast in its support for Tel Aviv and has massively increased its arms exports to Israel, boosting its budget from $34 million last year to $320 million in the last month. In 2017, Germany adopted the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism. Rights groups say that the definition falsely equates criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism and encourages censorship and anti-Palestinian racism.
If you're trying to protect your ally, if you're trying to protect your narrative and the memory culture that you've built that has been situated on, protecting Israel's right to exist, if you're going to protect that and protect your legacy, you have to suppress Palestinians.
The outright banning of pro-Palestine protests in Germany has sparked outrage, with many saying the country's coming to terms with past is clashing with fundamental rights, including freedom of speech and the right to peaceful demonstrations. But this hasn't stopped people from taking to the streets.
I'm trying to fill the streets of Berlin with our presence so they don't think that their policies of silencing us are working.